Okay, so today we're going to go over monsters from New Light. In particular, we really need a Hive Ultra. Because we have an issue where on our roll tables, it's, you can roll a Hive Ultra, but the only Ultra that we have available to our GMs right now is the Siege Ogre, which requires a session plan. That can't be a random roll. And that's to help keep the monster unique and special. There's also we're missing quite a few high-level enemies.
We are, yeah. It is true.
Like I'm looking at, we have a crap ton of elites, not too many majors. Like basically, I would want another CR 0 to 4 major, another CR 5 to 10 major, and another CR 11 to 16 major. Possibly start making some CR 17 plus monsters for the Hive
the Hellmouth.
For the Hellmouth and for the Vault of Glass. We're good on elites. CR 5 to 10, looking fantastic. That area is covered.
Yeah.
We could make a buffed up wizard that could go here.
Could, yeah, something between a banshee and a wizard. Maybe a wizard that focuses a little bit more on like buff spells, like a wizard that casts haste could be fun.
Oh, that'd be super fun, actually.
Yep, you haste your knight. Oh,
not 11 16. There we go. So, and then of course Ultra. Ideally, I would like at least 2 Ultras to pick from that can be randomly rolled Ultras.
Yep, we could, and for especially considering that Hive can show up in low and high CR areas, right?
Yeah.
We definitely want like maybe a low power Ultra, like maybe in a 5 to 10 Ultra, and then maybe like an 11 to 16 Ultra. I think it could be good. Yeah. You got that marked down. Perfect.
We also had a couple other monster ideas that you and I have batted around in the past. Remember that one Scion?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, the Scion. That was definitely not me being inspired from certain enemies in Stalker. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Scions that can make you like drop your gun, unload your guns, stuff like that. Yeah.
Scion that works. Can use telepathic attacks to manipulate enemies, drop their guns, limit action economy, maybe even puppet their dead allies, or take over a PC for a turn with a charge-up action. The charge-up action take over for a turn. So, on one hand, absolutely diabolical. And there would be some players who would actually be so into that. They would be so absolutely into that. And there'd be some players who, if you did that to them, they would hunt you down to destroy you.
I think one of the easiest ways to do that is actually kind of take a page from Lancer's book. Lancer has a couple of enemies that do that. The Witch, in particular, is a particularly notorious one for doing this. Where basically, what it can do is it can hit you it's got like a special tech attack that it can make. It will make that tech attack against you. If it hits, it then immediately forces you. It picks the weapon and the target, but you're the one shooting. So I think the whole like take control of somebody's character for a turn, not so great. But it can swap to one of your stowed weapons and make you fire it at somebody, right? Like, oh hey, that's a really nice forerunner that you have. It'd be really, really awful if you were to shoot your unshielded friend in the back of the head with it when I complete this charge-up action. And for the charge-up action, it could just be, picks a target. Once the charge-up action completes, it picks a target, briefly seizes control of their body, swaps to one of their weapons, immediately take a shot. The shot automatically hits. Maybe even crits if possible. And it takes a shot with the weapon. If the shot requires an attack roll, it automatically hits, maybe even crits. Because, I mean, Kitty, one thing I'm thinking of already in this mind is, what if Danis gets hit with a telekinetic scion with his Deathbringer, and then...
Oh, and we can Danis would finish his telemetry so fast!
Well, I mean, Deathbringer is already... Sure, that could be the excuse he gives to the Vanguard, and then when they file the report, it's like, hey, I thought it looks like this weapon was completed 2 weeks ago. What's this whole needing more telemetry thing? And he goes, oh, yeah, that was a lie. That was a lie, I said.
Oh my god. Okay. So, I'm kind of down. We could make that the buffed wizard. We could either leave it as a scion, because we are kind of low on Cabal units to work with. We do have ultras for Cabals, but we don't have much variety in terms of majors.
Yeah, and also our ultras are not... They're the same unit, but different.
Yeah, it's the 3 different mind flayers: the burning flayer, the hollow flayer, and the voltaic flayer.
Yeah.
They do play differently, and it does feel different to play up against them, so I'm not super pressed about making another Cabal Ultra. I think our highest priority is going to be it's definitely going to be a Hive Ultra, and possibly another Fallen Ultra, or like
that could certainly help.
Yeah, like a souped up Walker.
Yeah, we've had ideas for the souped up Walker as well.
A Siege Walker.
Siege Walker. We could just remake the Queen, but it's a Walker.
God, you are so arc-pilled.
I am very Arc Readers pilled right now. It's not a problem. It's an asset.
Okay, so right now let's decide: is this going to stay a Scion, or are we going to turn this into a Hive creature, possibly a buffed up wizard or an Ultra wizard?
It could work either way. I think what I would love to see for a Hive wizard, though, I think it should be a Flayer, but we can make it a major Flayer. So I think we make it a major Flayer. Or a major Scion, excuse me, not necessarily a Flayer, but a major Scion.
Okay.
Because I think what I'd really like to do is to almost have like a Death Cleric vibe wizard. I think that could be really fun. Okay. So it's less about overt damage and more about like buffing and yeah.
So we have the core feature here. This is the charge up action to take control or to perform an action that the target can normally perform. What else, if anything, does this Scion do?
So that can obviously be its charge up action. I am a big proponent of the monsters with charge up actions also having things to do other than charge up actions. For if they get knocked out of their charge up action, they can still do some things, and also so that way they're not just all they do, they're just a floating sword of Damocles. Because I think at least when I'm piloting them, I like the tactical nuance of, like, say, the Sentinel as an example, where I can do the charge up action of fire in my laser to force the fire team to reposition, and then if they don't, basically one of them will die. Whoever's caught in the blast radius will just die. But also it's nice to not do that, and then it's still basically a Cyclops, right? Still fires its void cannon, still does a bunch of damage.
How do you feel about this controller Scion? I do like using the name controller for it, because we have the Deceiver Scion, we have a controller Scion. It fits into the nomenclature, Headhunter, all that other stuff.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. I think controller Scion is great. But the other things it can do, it doesn't even need to have, like, the actions that it can do don't even need to be overt attacks. Like, if this thing doesn't have weapons, I think that's totally fine. But the idea that, like, it can make attack rolls or force saves, but if it hits, it's things like, this character has 0 movement and cannot gain any movement until the end of their next turn, right? Like, it just locks them in place, right? Not like hold person, because paralyze is something that we want to use very, very sparingly, because paralyze is a brutal condition in 5e.
We could be a little bad.
I'm Kitty. You gotta twist my arm on that.
The controller Scion, if a creature within X feet of it is hit by an attack, but it didn't beat the AC by 4 or more, so it only beat the AC by 3 or less, it misses.
Ooh.
Effectively, it just grants a +3 to AC,
Yeah.
but without well, so effectively a +3 to AC, but is there a difference? There is kind of a difference, because if it's a +3 to AC, that means that all of those weapon perks that are like, if you beat the AC by 4 or more, now have to hit way higher, because it's a +3 to AC. Whereas if you write it as, if you didn't hit by at least 4 or more, you still, for those perks and everything on those guns, they still get to proc at the normal threshold they would have had to have procced.
Yeah, I think I like that, and I almost want to tuck that into our back pocket for maybe something else, like if we were to do like a telekinetic scion. So a scion that's like almost like a poltergeist, right? So just about picking things up and throwing them around. I think having basically what amounts to a shield aura or like a dampening aura works really, 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 really well for that. If we want to do a similar effect for something like a controller scion, especially since this is more about like psionic puppeting, what we could do is it has an ability, maybe kind of similar to the security drones, like they mark a target, and it's effectively something where like they use their action, targeting the using their psionic powers to effectively target the afflict the target's like CNS, right? So it's like targeting their central nervous system. And the idea is that it's causing them to like, it's like bad Broodweaver. They're causing their body to like twitch, they react a little bit more slowly, things like that. And so we could make that a very targeted effect on somebody, right? Where it's like, hey, while this scion is focusing on you, we give them that effect where it's like, hey, if you would hit a target, but you're not within a certain range, it actually just misses instead because it's that much harder for you to aim. I think doing that instead of like a little defensive aura would almost make more sense. And it's more about it like yanking the gun out of your hand at the last second, right? So it's like you're getting a shot and then it just steers the gun away.
So
and you,
what if it was a wisdom saving throw? That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on,
I think a wisdom saving throw would be fitting because it would be more about noticing the mental intrusion, right? Like, so understanding that this thing has like slipped into the back of your mind, right? I like that. We could also, now Kitty, this could be a fun way to do the having the fire team shoot their friends strategy, is we marry it to that same effect, and instead of it being a charge of action, I grab you and shoot you, or I grab you and make you shoot another person. We could have it so that way be whoever's afflicted by sap aptitude or something like that. I don't know. They are, it can like, I'm trying to think here. We give it an effect like, hey, if you have to succeed more, right? You have to, basically ACs are 3 higher for you, but like you said, a little bit more nuanced, so that way it's, not actually just increasing the AC of targets. So basically, if you're not being hyper accurate, you're just gonna miss. But then if that character rolls a nat 1, in the scion causes them to shoot whatever weapon they just rolled a nat 1 on a different target of their choosing.
Okay, nat 1s. So I was prepping the monster sheet, and I think I lost the plot here a little bit.
Oh no,
so
I'm sorry.
Are we not keeping the charge up action then?
We can. It was just another idea. Another idea. It was just.
Because I do like the charge up action, and if you,
I do too.
If it completes, then it uses you to take a shot with one of your equipped or stowed weapons against a target of its choosing. Okay. So the charge up action.
No, I like that.
This, we don't need on initiative counts because it's not going to do anything like that. So first of all, do we have a name for this action? Assuming direct control.
Assuming direct control, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, that's right. You haven't played Mass Effect. Never mind.
I've heard that. I've heard that line before.
It comes from Mass Effect. We can also just call it assuming control.
Assuming control. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that actually.
Assuming control. What the basics of how I would like this to work is the Scion puts itself in a containment field, if you will, and that it blocks projectiles, but melee attacks can still affect it.
Yeah. I like
and
that.
if it takes any damage, it loses. It gets interrupted.
Yeah.
So you don't gotta kill it. You just have to get up there and damage it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh. What if we also gave it like a small aura to represent that it's like, oh, I actually like this. What if we gave it like a 10 or a 15-foot aura, Kitty, that the area around it counts as magical difficult terrain, because as you're approaching it, it's just willing you to stop coming close.
I mean, there could be wisdom saving throws against that, even.
Could
like
be.
Yeah, when you try to approach it, you have to make a wisdom save, and if you fail, your speed becomes 0.
Yeah, so when you enter that area for the first time, you have to make a wisdom save.
I would just say whenever you move within the area, if you fail the wisdom, your speed becomes 0. It doesn't restrain you or anything like that. You just can't move anymore.
How, so when you say when you move in the area, is that, so like, what happens if you go, all right, let's say it's a 10-foot aura, okay? So I'm sprinting towards the Scion. I enter that outer 5 feet of the aura, I make my wisdom save, I succeed, very cool. I move another 5 feet within the aura, do I have to make the save again? Save.
Yes.
Wow, every 5 feet you want to move in the aura, you have to make a wisdom save.
Yes.
That's nasty. I'm okay with that.
It would, and especially if we combine it with any amount of damage interrupts the charge up action, it means that, essentially, if you could just get up there and even unarmed strike it, then
you just gotta punch it.
Yeah, you just gotta punch it. You don't even have to kill it, you just have to punch it. I could see it, it's the type of gameplay that players might, if they see that aura, though, and the wisdom save aura, they might decide they don't want anything to do with it and leave, which it naturally prevents them from figuring out how to interrupt the charge of action.
That's almost.
But like that's good from the monster's perspective. Like that's what the monster wants.
Right, exactly. So on the one hand, I like that. If we sit on this and we decide that it's maybe a little too potent or oppressive, we could just make the aura a little bigger, make it like 15 feet, and it just counts, that whole sphere counts as paracausal difficult terrain or magical difficult terrain, right? And then the idea is that as you're approaching it, it's earing at your mind and your will to try to keep you away from it. Yeah.
Is that aura always available to it, or is that only during the charge up action?
I think that should be always available to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if we don't really give this thing any weapons or direct damage, it just makes targeting it kind of hard, right? So the idea is that like you want to knock it out of its charge up action and then kill it from range, or kill it from range before it pops up into its thing. But I like the idea of the reducing movement speed to 0. I think that's an action that we could give it, where like it does just, briefly stun someone. Not actually stun, but literally the idea of it just like, projects enough will at them that their body can't move, so they, or they just can't get their legs to work, so they can't move. So all movement speeds are reduced to 0.
You know what
so
else
make
I
it like a. What's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go.
I also like so if it's a 10-foot radius and all it does is reduce your speed to 0, and let's say you move into the radius and you fail. If you have a reach melee weapon, that doesn't matter because you can still reach poke him. And I think that's perfectly fine. Because now you don't have to have a whiz build to interrupt this, you just have to pack a glaive.
That's true. That's true. Okay. I hear you. I like it.
Yeah,
I like
there's counterplay beyond just the stats. Because you can always
That's
just get
fair.
a bad dice roll. But
you can. I do. I am conscious of the universe, and maybe this is not that big of a problem, but I'm conscious of the universe in which somebody wants to try to move 15 feet through this aura, and it's a wisdom save, and it's, you move 5 feet, great, make a wisdom save. Okay, cool, you passed. Walk 5 feet, cool, make another wisdom save. Okay, great, you move 5, we're gonna make another wisdom save. And that almost feels annoying. Like, and not in a like, oh, this monster is really difficult and irritating, but it's like I have to make this wisdom save how many times? So, but it definitely gets the point across as well, though, of like trying to approach this thing is really hard, and you can't just move through its space for no reason. You know, there's no immunity for 24 hours after you succeed. It's just moving through this thing's space is debilitating.
To me, that's not that big of a deal.
Sure. I mean, I do think it puts the controller scion in a very interesting tactical position, because you can not only can you use the scion as a debilitating controller, but it also means that you can use this thing as mobile, difficult terrain on the battlefield, right? So you could put your snipers in the back, and then put this controller scion with them, and then if anyone was to try to rush the snipers, well, they got a problem. You know, or even you can use it very aggressively. You run the controller scion up on somebody, get them within that aura, and then walk like a colossus up to them, or some other big bulky unit, and now when that person's trying to run away, they have to make a wisdom save for every 5 feet they have to go. Which is scary. So I think it certainly works. And it's an ultra, right? The other thing to consider too is that this is an ultra. This is not going to show up.
Was going to be a major.
Oh! I saw the ultra action, and I just, my brain auto-corrected. Well, still, it's a major. Majors don't show up all the time.
Yeah.
So this thing having a battle-defining...
I don't want to do a 15-foot radius difficult terrain, because that's fucking huge!
Yeah. My thinking there was to get across the point that getting to it is very, very, very difficult, and you will either have to dash to get in there, or literally be in its aura already, or just outside of its aura, to have a hope of being able to run up to it and melee it, right? Or have amplified, or something like that, right? Because 15-foot radius difficult terrain, that requires 30 feet of movement just across it. Just to get to the guy. But you're right. I think that could be oppressive in a completely different way. Especially because the other thing too is 15-foot radius on our battle maps that's like a third of the battlefield.
Yeah, it's almost a quarter of the battle map.
Yep. So honestly, in that regard, I think the wisdom saving throw thing is better.
Okay, we're going to make two different versions of this monster. One's going to have the wisdom save, one's going to have the 15-foot aura. And we're just going to run both at the same time in the same encounter. Obviously, this is not going to interfere in any player's like reactions or opinions of these monsters.
No, God, no.
That would never happen.
No,
but
that would never happen.
We run them, and then we see how it works out. And then whatever one doesn't work out, we delete it, and it never shows up again.
Yeah.
This is how we operate. This is how our monsters work.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cannon? What's that? That's what's on the walker, right?
Yeah, that's what's on the walker. Oh my god. All right. So I've got this feature currently labeled as Mind Shredder.
I like it.
We have the charge up action. It's not an ultra, so we can get rid of those actions. Does it do anything super special for its main actions, or are we just gonna like give it a slug rifle and call it a day?
No, I actually really like the idea of some of my favorite creatures we have on our list are the ones that aren't all about doing damage. I think we can give this thing some very oppressive control effects by not also giving it a gun. Like, it doesn't carry a gun. Its weapon is its brain.
Well then I kind of want to give it the shockwave at least, and the Palm
Shockwave.
Blast. Those are the two sort of default Scion actions. The wave that
Sure.
boops you up into the sky, and then the Palm Blast is their melee option.
I like that. I think that's fine. But then we could also give, I think, the other spot that we could put, some of the other action control options as well. So it has like a multi-attack where it could do a Palm Blast, it can do a Shockwave, but then it could also do something like, I'm gonna make a, attack roll, and if I hit you, your movement speed reduces to 0 until the end of your next turn, or, your weapon unloads.
Oh, your weapon unloads on those cumbersome weapons?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Again, we unload Deathbringer.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. Or like someone's Hezen's Vengeance that they finally got Clown Cartridge to proc on. And we just go, oh wow, that's super. It's like, yes, I procced Clown Cartridge. And the controller Scion just smiles and forces them to drop the magazine out of the gun. I'm like, no! No!
If I pick it up off the ground and I reload it, I keep the Clown Cartridge, right? Right?
No, you gotta roll again.
You gotta roll again. So if we call this Disruption, we could probably package it all into a single action here.
Yeah, and just let the GM pick from a couple of different effects.
Make an attack roll on a hit. Choose one of the following effects. Unload.
What we could do too,
weapon.
Kitty, is we could, if we wanted to make this a saving throw, so that way particular characters who have put points into mental stats can feel more effective against this, right? We could make it a saving throw. But hear me out on this. Instead of it being save or suck, right, of where it's like, okay, cool, because I don't want to put damage on this. I really don't want to put damage on it. We've given it's got some damage options for like very close quarters to like as a panic, right? Of like I got to get these people out of my face, get them away. We could do a saving throw, and the way that it works is if they fail the saving throw, the GM gets to pick like 2, maybe even 3 options from the list. But if the player succeeds, the GM can only pick 1.
Okay. Well,
let's make fully gets into your
Before I can answer that, let's make our list.
Sure.
Because how big can we make this list, and what are the options?
Let's see. Unload a weapon. Reduce the target's movement speed to 0. But the idea of reducing the target's movement speed to 0, or like setting, not even reduce, set the target's movement speed to 0 until the end of their next turn. The idea being there's nothing they can do to get movement speed.
Yeah, and they can't get any benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if you go, oh, I'm at 0 movement speed and I cast an arc ability. That gives me a stack of amplified. That gives me 5 feet of movement, right? No. Nope. I think the only thing that works for that is teleporting. Because that's not movement speed.
Okay.
So if you have blink, or if you have
well, if it costs, some of them cost movement to do, but if they don't, then yes.
If they don't cost movement, yeah.
Anyways,
like I blink. Anyway, good point. Yeah.
But
setting the target's movement speed to 0, until the end of their next turn. Unloading a weapon. Could force them to drop prone. Like their legs just give out from under them.
Drop prone. Got that on the list. What's some other fun things that we could do? Hallucinate? Is that an option?
Well, I like this one being a little bit more like puppetry as opposed to like. I guess if it's in your brain, it could make you hallucinate. That's always a hard one. I always struggle to pull off mechanics like that. So, but I don't know. Maybe you probably got some good ideas there.
Well, the hallucination one, I would just do that. Until the end of your next turn, whenever you would make an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check, you have to first roll frickin', let's say, a d10. And if you roll a 4 or lower, you fail to perform your attack roll, saving throw, or ability check. It still costs whatever it costs for you to try. You just, it's a wasted effort.
Yep.
We could also say... We could simplify it a little bit, and we could say take an action or a bonus action on your next turn, not both.
I like that. I like that. I think that's really good.
And to that effect, I almost want one that can't take reactions for the next minute.
Oh my god.
No.
Blade dancers cry.
Yeah, the blade dancers and the arc striders around the world just broke down into tears.
Oh, this Cabal missed its attack roll. Would you like to? Oh, no.
You would love saying that, though. If you could, you would. Especially, and I know Stella's going to be listening to this later. Stella, especially to you, Drac would love to be able to do that. Because very briefly, it would be Finley GMing the session. Not Drac.
Oh, no. Anima, what happened? Oh, Anima, no! Anima, what are you doing on the ground, Anima? No, get up! Girl, your crown! Anima, no!
No,
God.
we won't.
We won't. Unless. No,
Unless.
we won't.
There's all kinds of little minor things we can throw in here, like if they're benefiting from an AC that is greater than what their worn armor or natural armor provides to them, they stop benefiting from it. Oh, so to make it even simpler, we just say your AC is reduced by the proficiency bonus of the creature.
We have Sunder Strike now.
That's kind of what this is. We're kind of just making a Scion that does Sunder Strike. Get sundered.
Well, it's almost like Sunder provides like a really fun tactical environment. I don't know. I think
something like
so.
that.
Giving it to the monster, something like that.
Everything the players have
mechanics
in
were
general.
Really smart.
In general, everything the players have, I do try to give to the monsters, and I use them against the players so that the players can understand how much BS that they have access to. And if they're like, that's BS, that's not fair, and it's like, well, how the fuck do you think I feel?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It also helps a lot, especially when players are bad-mouthing a feature or something like that. You just give it to a monster, and you use it against them, and they're like, never mind, it's good. I see the light now. We're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's one of those things that like a mechanic just doesn't make sense in the brain space. Like we kind of had this with like Exhumed and Cover Fire for a while as well, and then a couple of people start using it really effectively, and it goes, oh, I see the use case now, right? Yeah, some people are just very visual. Some people are very visual learners, and so it's like, well, I just won't die, forehead. Why would I ever need Exhumed? I've never hit 0 hit points in my entire life. I'm God's favorite guardian. What are you talking about? But then it makes res chaining a whole lot easier. Anyway,
so here's the list that I have here, which is
fantastic.
So the disruption, it's a saving throw. The target has to make a saving throw.
Yes. If they fail, the GM chooses 3. And if the player succeeds, they only get to choose 1.
Okay. Then our options are unload a weapon, reduce the target speed to 0, take an action or bonus action, not both, can't take reactions until the end of your next turn, AC reduced by 4, or weakened. I do want to put a couple big ones in here.
Sure. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
I think that's a decent list then.
More than anything with this monster, more than anything.
Yeah.
I would love nothing more than to get into some stupid, silly games where I target somebody with a cumbersome weapon with this. Ha! I succeeded your save. Okay, that's fine. I unload your cumbersome weapon. They go grrr, and they reload their cumbersome weapon, and then this controller sign goes again, and I force the save on them, and then they pass the save, and they go, "Don't you do it?" I just smile, and I go, "Do what?" "Oh, you dropped something."
Damn it. You just want to have a controller scion that sits up there with the defib asking the rando, like, you want it? What do you want?
I almost, almost.
I got halfway through reviving you, and I bumped my controller.
Stupid game.
They can't walk on the keyboard. Let me try that again.
Oh, gosh, sorry. So hold still. You are holding still? I know you were moving on my screen. Must be desync. Let me try again. It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right.
And then
I absolutely would do that. I would waste my this is just a major. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, this is just a major.
I was gonna say,
you would
this
waste
is
your
an ultra.
ultra
I would waste my ultra a month just to have this controller scion follow Danis around and force it to drop his magazine with Deathbringer.
Jesus. Of course you would. Of
course
course
I
you would.
Of course I would.
What CR? I'm kind of leaning to like CR 15. Realistically.
Yeah.
I want this
because
to be
it's still got like Palm Blast and the.
It's got the Arc Wave. I might give it a gun. I know you don't want it to have a gun, but I feel like it's gonna need a gun. It either needs a gun or it needs an actual damaging action. Besides just Palm Blast.
Instead of Psionic Wave, why don't you give it that the super spicy Shockwave that one?
Oh, the one from the Hoplite,
has.
the Breach.
Yes, give them Breach. Give them Breach. You can't hear me. Maybe Crisp cut it out. I'm literally clapping like a seal. Give them Breach. I don't give a shit about Psionic Wave. Psionic Wave is for babies.
Psionic Wave is super combo though. When you knock them airborne, it just start taking pot shots at them.
Yeah, but then it doesn't have a gun, so it just holds it up in the air. It's silly.
It's got allies. Silly. It's got allies, right? Come on.
Yeah, but okay, come on. This Scion literally has such a big cranium that it is puppeting people around the battlefield. You think it's gonna rely on teammates? Absolutely not.
Does it have jetpacks?
It should have a jetpack. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go give it a bonus action jetpack then.
Do it. That's everybody's favorite trait about the Cabal is that they don't care about movement. They just jetpack to wherever the hell they want.
The thing is, players can target the jetpacks. We've done that. We've got the component dies on all of them. It's just the players never target the jetpacks.
Well, because to a certain degree, it's like, am I going to target the component of every single Cabal Legionary or the Hoplite, or am I just going to kill the Hoplite? I'm probably just going to try to kill the Hoplite.
They're probably just going to kill it.
Yeah. Now, for something really big and tanky, like a Colossus or an Honored Colossus, getting rid of its jetpack, sure, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that means it makes it very easy to kite. Very easy.
Yeah, because they just sit in a corner. I don't know if you do this about Colossi, but without that jetpack, they're really slow.
They can't
do shit. They're really, really slow. Yeah. All right. You turned a living creature into a gun emplacement.
Okay. Who are these other monsters?
That's a great question. Let me go back over to our checklist. So we just did the Scion controller. Fantastic. I think that's it for the Cabal, because the Cabal are pretty robust, to be honest.
They have a few places here and there to fill in, but that's gonna be like Honored Centurion is something we could do, so that we have like another CR 11 to 16 elite. That isn't a Centurion getting outranked by a Scion.
Right. Yes. That's true.
Yeah, it's taking the quote unquote filler units and just buffing them. So I'm not worried about that.
No.
We can move on then to we either try to tackle that Hive Ultra right now, or we talk about a souped up version of a Walker tank, like a fallen Ultra CR 11.
Hive need ultras. Let's honestly, we should knuckle down on the Hive ultras and majors, because they literally don't have any.
Don't have any. Let's go look. Well, they do, but there's
the actual offerings for a major creature for the Hive are very, very limited.
Two of them require session plans. That's the Banshee and the Executioner. Damned Thrall, Ogre, and Swarma Thrall are not exciting.
Swarm. The players at this point know very well how to handle Swarms of Thrall, which is fantastic. But it does mean that your major. It's great for baby new light fights, but otherwise Swarm of Thralls are really great filler for public events and public events and heavy encounters, right? For when you don't want to put two damned Thrall on the field, right? Or the ever beleaguered double ogre.
hang on. I think Silencer was meant to be a major. And then it just ended up not being a major because of the feature on it. Because that's the one that just eats your light, so it doesn't.
It is not spooky enough to be a major. Even if you made that a 0 to 4 major, I don't think it's spooky enough to be a major. I'll be so real with you.
We could take Chosen Knight. We could buff that to be a major. So we'd have Knight,
what does Chosen Knight
and
do right now?
Chosen Knight.
Hive Elite, Chosen Knight. What does this thing even do? Oh, it's the one with the splinter bow.
Yeah, we could just buff that and make it a major.
Whenever I have the choice of being able to throw one of those higher tier elites at a party, I am picking Honored Knight over Chosen Knight every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
It's just, it means more when you have the higher CR, because Honored Knight's in the 11 to 16 range. And putting one of those in there means you don't need 6 soldiers, and it makes your it condenses your monster list. It makes your combats go a lot better, and it's scarier. The Honored Knight is just a buffed up knight, but it is, that buff matters. It
does. It does. Also, the boomer cannon is more reliable damage than the splinter bow. The splinter bow can shoot up to 3 targets at a time, and it gets to shoot twice with the splinter bow, but it targets in a 60-foot cone, which is genuinely very, very cool. Its damage is pitiful. It is piddly damage for the Chosen Knight. It's like I think it's a D8 plus 4. So on average, I'm doing 9 damage. So even if I fire it twice, hit the same person twice, with a multi-attack on a knight, I did, on average, 18 damage. Which is
we'll buff the stats. We'll buff the stats.
Buff the stats.
Oh my god. Get back in here and make the... Right. We'll make the Chosen Knight I kind of want to make it an 11 to 16 major.
Yeah, okay.
We still have the Ultra. We still have the goddamn... What's some of the other monster ideas we've talked about in the past? We've had plenty.
We had some very funny, silly ogre ideas.
We did have very funny, silly ogre ideas, because we had the Solar Ogre, and we also wanted to do a Void Ogre and the Arc Ogre. Yes. But if they're going to be like the Siege Ogre, that means they're also going to require a session plan, which means we can't.
Damn it! Yeah, that's part of the problem. That's true. This is true. This is true.
We could do something like maybe a Rotten Ogre.
Explain.
A Rotten Ogre. Technically, we'd kind of be stealing Gulrot the Unclean from the Prison of Elders. But what I'm imagining is a moving toxic waste dump of an ogre.
You want muck.
I want muck. I want the Pokemon muck
Hive.
But Hive.
Yeah, muck plus sword logic equals this. Okay.
Yeah. Where it's basically got a bunch of festering wounds on it, and if you attack it with melee damage, you take necrotic damage in return, because you're popping its wounds.
Could be everybody within 5 feet of it, too.
Oh, we could make it everybody within 5 feet of it. We could also make it so you need to try to
kill it with big hits, as opposed to whittling it down.
And we could also make it so that the damage that you take can also possibly damage your equipment. Like if we're thinking toxic spill.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah.
Guns.
Rust monster. Good.
Rust monster. Just Rust monster the ogre.
Oh no, the ogre ate my Suros regime. No.
So if we did Rotten Ogre, what's up?
I have the idea too that what we could do is make it so that way, like, its attack is more of like a sludge bomb type thing. We could make it gross. It basically like vomits, gut rot all over you. Yeah. But when it does it, you have to make the save. We can make the saving throw very high. Especially since we're making this like a major or an ultra even. Saving throw is ridiculously high. But we could even make it that way a player can choose to succeed the saving throw, but all equipment that they currently have equipped becomes damaged.
Okay.
So the point is that their armor took the brunt of it, their weapons took the brunt of it, but so they'll take half damage, but their armor becomes damaged, and then if they choose to do that again, their shit can just break.
Okay.
But we can make it do a good bit of damage, but we can make the condition that it afflicts be so debilitating that players consider that offer, right? Like it's poisoned, like you become magically poisoned when you fail the saving throw. Ooh, Kitty, what if what if you become magically poisoned when you fail the saving throw? It's like damage at the start of your turn. You automatically take damage at the start of your turn. You can only succeed the save by making the save again. We could even make it really awful, and it's like it's an action because you're more of having to like you attempt the saving throw again. It's because you're like literally trying to get the gunk off of you. But what if it applied the same effect that the ogre has on it? It spreads the rot. So if you fail the saving throw against its rot gut, whenever you get hit, you also spit out necrotic damage.
Infectious ogre.
Infectious ogre, yes. Pestilent ogre.
Okay.
Infectious is good too.
Ogre. I like pestilent. Okay, so I am just calling it Sludge Bomb for now. We'll probably end up changing it later. Famous final words of a dev. We won't. It'll be Sludge Bomb forever.
Yeah, it'll be Sludge Bomb forever.
There are so many actions in this game that are just Pokemon actions that I was like, I should change the name later. I never did.
Nintendo, this is a joke.
This It is a joke. Except for Trick Room. That one did stay.
But Nintendo didn't come up with the concept of a trick room, so
yeah. So saving throw. What type of save is it? Con save?
It should absolutely be a con save. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Unless if we want to lean into it being like magical and it's a charisma save for like.
No, we got too much. Yeah, we gotta do. We actually
have too many charisma saves.
We have more charisma saves than we do wisdom or intelligence save options.
Wow. Okay, con save then.
But
we could throw more int saves at people.
I would love to do more int save stuff. But
I mean, we could literally just redo everything we just put on the controller scion to be int saves instead of wisdom saves. It's about sheer force of intellectual.
Well, see, that one I want to say on wisdom because both wisdom and int both need more.
True,
monsters
like you did say wisdom.
Yeah.
All right, my 5e default brain takes over, where wisdom and dex are the two most important saving proficiencies to have in the entire game because that makes up 70% of the saving throw effects that get thrown at you.
For us, it's more like dex and strength because a lot of our monsters have stomps and pushbacks and stuff like that.
For sure. Payload weapons are also all dex saves.
Okay, but make a con save, become magically poisoned when you fail to save, dot at the start of turn. What I almost want to say is that instead of becoming magically poisoned, it's con saving throw fail. Gain a condition for the next minute where you get festering wounds. And then if you save, you're immune. So you don't have to worry about it again. It is kind of save or suck. Festering wounds, if you're smart and you position well, you can actually use that to your advantage. Because that's just whenever you take damage, you expel necrotic damage in an area around you.
Yep.
There are certainly plenty of people who would not mind having that. I'm looking at our World Line 0 players.
For sure.
But I also kind of want to do festering wounds to...
But we could also throw some other debilitating conditions on this as well. I almost want to
give them disadvantage on attack rolls while they have that.
Poisoned already does that.
Well, yeah, but it's basically we're not going to call it the poisoned condition. We're going to call it something else, but it's going to do the effects of the poisoned conditions in addition to the festering wounds.
Oh, interesting. Why? I'm just curious. What's your rationale there? Why?
Because certain features and stuff like that give you advantage on saves against being poisoned, and if we're considering this to be magical, I think it should be able to overcome it. So by changing the name of the condition away from poisoned, we don't proc that, but we get the same effect.
Okay. Fair enough.
If we felt like being a little bit more fair to those players, but the players that have immunity, or not immunity, but advantage on poisoned and scorched saving throws, that already covers a lot for them. I don't know. It's actually kind of a bigger game design question to look at here. So, because you want to reward the player choices, and this is something that I actually really appreciate Divinity Original Sin for teaching me. Because playing through that game, the race you decide to play as, or the species you decide to play as, has massive implications on how you play the game, because you interact with the systems very differently. If you're going to play as the undead, healing magic hurts you, but poison heals you. And there are certain encounters in the game. There's this one encounter in Act 3 where you have to go into the poison warehouse. The warehouse is full of poison. You shoot the barrels and the poison falls out all over the floor. That's so easy when you're undead. That encounter is so easy. And it's nice because for every encounter like that, you also have to deal with, fuck, I wish I could heal right now, but I can't because it will damage me. It comes back to, like, you want to reward those choices, which is why even, when making even first edition, you can see this a lot more, where your species option is actually a pretty powerful option. Because, the Awoken have the advantage on the saving throws against just spells and light abilities and all that other stuff. The humans have the adrenaline rush, and the Exos have the advantage against burning and poisoned, which is way more prevalent in 1E than it is currently in 2E. We can fix that, though.
Yes, we're doing monster design now. We can fix that.
And you want to reward those choices. I guess it just comes down to, because if we call it poisoned, they just get the advantage. They don't get the immunity.
Sure.
And it is kind of hard to stick a festering wound to a robot. But it also feels like, currently in 2E, Adrenaline Rush is still good, but...
Adrenaline Rush is very good in 2E.
As we saw in the session you ran most recently, the becoming incapacitated, ending it, has actually been a huge change to how that plays.
That's true. It's niche effects that we have that incapacitate people, but yes, when it does happen, it shuts it down for sure. And in that instance, it led to a guardian down.
Yeah, they got incapacitated. All the damage they ignored, they suddenly took all at once, and it was enough to down them.
Gosh, yeah, and Indra had absorbed so much damage from, like, goblin and harpy shots.
It's one of those things where... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it must have been, like, 40 or 50 points of damage stored.
Yeah.
The actual gravity slam wouldn't have killed Indra, but the stacked damage was more than enough to do it.
And it's one of those things where, like, we could get rid of that part where the incapacitation ends the condition. Alternatively, if we did that, we would have to reduce the amount of damage that you can actually absorb with Adrenaline Rush. And I was thinking of something where it's like an amount equal to your proficiency bonus once per round kind of thing. Where it's nice, but it's not gonna do what it does now, which is, take 40 damage.
Yeah, I think we saw some of our GMs discussing this mainly as trying to figure out the order of operations for how Ad Rush applies its damage reductions, but they arrived at the correct conclusion, which is, it's the final thing that's reduced. So it is very effective because, when you have aligned shields, which you do in 2E, I take 50 damage. Aligned shields gives me resistance. I go to 25. I add rush. It's, a D8, I think, plus con, if I remember correctly.
So if we just assume they've invested 2 plus 2 into con, then they're getting, what, 6?
6, so then you go from 25 to 19, so for big chunks of damage, you can definitely still hurt Guardians, no problem, but they basically become completely immune to the damage of everything that isn't an elite or a major, or an elite or higher. Yeah. Watching harpies and goblins absolutely dump shots into somebody with ad rush and their health bar doesn't move. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, I understand the cinematic effect that we're trying to go for here, where adrenaline rush is meant to be this person is getting shot but they feel no pain, right? But it is one of those things where it is very, very potent, to the point that you'd almost want the order of damage reduction to go in the other direction, where it's you take the total number and apply that reduction before applying vulnerability or resistances. It's just the first thing. So boom, you take 70 damage. Great. You rolled a 15. You rolled as high as you could get on your ad rush. You got like a 13, right? A 13 or a 14 or whatever. Cool. 70 goes down to 56. Then resistance hits, brings you down to a 28. Something like that would maybe like that would make it more consistent across the board, where it is just kind of like a flat damage reduction that occurs. It's the first bit of number changing that occurs before vulnerabilities or resistances.
Which helps a lot, because in the case of resistances, it basically doubles how much you resist.
Yes. Yep. And so when somebody with ad rush stacks con, and they have a very reliable way of getting resistance, which is via aligned shields, they can become effectively immortal. I remember this when I was playing Dax in our campaign, right? Song of Flame ad rush is absolutely bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. And sure, it's susceptible to incapacitated, but everyone's susceptible to incapacitate. Okay, let's not worry about fixing ad rush. We genuinely need to get these monsters crunched out. Ad rush isn't going anywhere. It'll be fine, and it's very strong right now, but it's also I
just changed it. We're done. It was 2 words. All I had to do was change the roll to your proficiency.
Oh, you just liked that change? Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to be.
I told you. I kind of wanted to do that.
Sure. Great.
Because if we do it as just a flat damage like that, then we can get rid of the bit about the incapacitated ending it, because we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. It just basically lasts for the scene that they pop it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool,
but back to the pestilent ogre that we're supposed to be working on.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hey,
okay.
Sloth, can you cut out enough of this to make it seem like we're cogent and productive people? Thanks, appreciate it, bud.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help that there's just been so much that has to have been done, and it's God, I need that Arc Raiders break so bad. Sloth, cut that out. Anyways, We're back to the pestilent ogre. We're done with the adrenaline rush.
I hope every time we say that, he just puts a big red no on screen. You
can't. Anyways, we're back to the pestilent ogre, because we need to talk about. And so, what are the other things that Gullrot could do, actually? Because if we're just gonna take Gullrot and turn it into an ultra, that
you got to explain this encounter to me. I never fought.
Okay,
Gullrot.
So Gullrot was one of the most basic bosses you could have fought in the Prison of Elders. I just filled the arena with toxic gas, and it was kind of just a basic ogre fight. There were Wormkeeper wizards that you had to kill, and that was it. And it was just Gullrot the Unclean, who just did stinky time. What's the breakthrough action? Because this is an ultra creature. What's the breakthrough action?
Well,
it could be similar to the Walker, where they don't actually have a breakthrough action. You just have the multiple hit point pools, because the damage cutoff and the recovering from conditions is already very powerful.
Ooh, Kitty, I have an idea. An idea.
What's up?
I've had a terrible idea.
Oh boy.
Breakthrough action.
Breakthrough
action. He could do the stinky cloud of smoke, obviously. So he could just do stinky smoke all over the place. And then it maybe does poison damage or something like that. I don't know. It does necrotic damage, whatever. We can have the stinky smoke do something. What we could do though is every time you break through, because you're ripping open more wounds on him, the range of festering wounds increases. So it goes from a 5-foot aura to a 10-foot aura to finally 15-foot.
Okay, hang on. I want to think this through a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If we...
Could also increase the damage instead.
If we I almost want to do the reverse. Because the more you're popping, the less there is to pop. Is the logic.
Oh.
So if it starts very big, and then the more you pop, the smaller the festering wounds aura gets, or the AoE gets, not really an aura.
Oh, see, and I was thinking it was more of like you're opening up more wounds on him.
Yeah, you're thinking more leaky bits. I'm thinking like popping pimples.
He's got pustules, yeah.
And it's, once you pop so many, you can't pop more.
Okay.
I think either one can work. It can be a bit fiddly for both of them, it can actually be very fiddly, because in an ideal world, your ultra creatures last 3 to 4 rounds, which is 50% longer than how long your average major lasts, which is 1 to 2 rounds.
True.
These creatures are not actually supposed to take 6 to 10 rounds to defeat. They are meant to last long enough that they get to do their cool thing, but you don't want fights to drag because of them.
Okay. Yeah. Is that why so you're saying that because that's why you like the idea of him getting weaker as you fight him?
Well, set that aside. Let's talk about the stinky fart cloud. Let's talk about the stinky fart cloud for a little bit.
Okay.
If you, for a breakthrough action, you've done enough damage that stomach gases get released and creates a gas cloud that is partially opaque and hard to see through.
Yeah.
Oh, but now you have to
literally.
Isn't this? This kind of sounds like Siege Ogre, but poison flavored. Because Siege Ogre
sounds like. Oh, does the Siege Ogre do something similar?
Yeah, it creates the solar pools. Can we think of something as a breakthrough action to do that isn't going to change the stats of the monster and isn't going to create an AoE to keep track of over time? A really cinematic action the monster can perform.
I mean, we could always, instead of it making it, we could always have him, like, basically this could be some type of roar that he does, and when he roars, it's almost like a breath weapon attack. So he, like, exhales a caustic, like, jet of poisonous gas.
Like a black dragon, yeah.
Yeah, like a black dragon. That could be pretty cool.
And I almost like it, like, if it's gonna do something like that, where it gets to do this breath weapon attack when it does the breakthrough action, when that happens, until the end of the ogre's next turn, it doesn't get its festering wounds feature. So there's this brief window where you can hit it without causing the AoE damage.
Okay.
That might be something that's really hard for players to notice or to realize is happening. But it also doesn't change the balance of the monster very much.
It doesn't. Yeah, but also I don't know if it's one of those things that, like, it's going to be something that the players really even have to... The only reason why I don't know if that's very compelling is simply because the monster is doing less cool things, and it's not actually changing how they fight it. Because the whole point of the ogre anyway is to pour the damage on anyway. It's not like we have to open up this window where we can attack it without the festering wounds occurring. It's just festering wounds is the thing we need to play around. It's only within 5 feet of the ogre anyway, so it's basically just don't melee this thing and you're fine. Or, you're gonna have to back away and potentially provoke adops, so he might backhand you as you try to walk away or something.
While I write down the basics of this ogre, what's a non-ogre, major or ultra, we could work on?
Here's the truth of the matter. There's just so few Hive units. We have thralls, ogres, which
well,
from a lore
okay, so
standpoint are just thralls.
we introduced gargoyles in our campaign. That's winged acolytes. What does an ultra gargoyle look like, or a major gargoyle?
Oh, major gargoyle could be very cool. I'm actually kind of big on doing like a major gargoyle. That would be super fun. Alternatively, Kitty, what if we did hive worms, but like big worms?
Oh, big worms? We could start attacking worms. That's fine. We have Zol in the 1E bestiary, but Zol's not the only worm that exists.
Right, and what if we did like a small Zol? Like, I don't like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a purple worm kind of worm, right?
That's like purple worm.
A tremor worm kind of worm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so for the armored ogre, I've given it the armor plating feature, which is in total, while it has the armor, can't be knocked prone, can't be weakened, can't have its AC reduced, and it ignores critical hits. For the breakthrough action, it does the AoE chain swap, is what I called it. I do also like the idea of creating some worm stat blocks. And I also like the idea of when you defeat a hive major, you can replace them with the worm on the battlefield. Like the worm pops out.
Yeah. That this is actually kind of a genuine question. I'm not making a bit here. So obviously, most of the time when we in the video game see hive worms, it's when you're crawling around the dreadnought, they're in the little thrall tunnels and stuff. Yeah. But also when you kill hive, sometimes their worms pop out. But like obviously,
they're all baby worms. It's because Destiny doesn't have models for other worms. They only have the babiest worm and.
Does your worm have to be like? Because obviously most of them it's because they eat the worm, right? But like, does the worm exist somewhere else? Like, what's they get really big?
I think the worm is. Okay, so now we have to make decisions for our setting on how worms work and what they do, and these decisions might not be congruent with what is in the video game
and that's okay. Yeah, this is generally more of a curiosity question than anything.
I think in the video game, the worms, they are kind of like ghosts in that they don't literally exist in the body of the... Because Oryx is not 20...
Hammer space.
It's hammer space. It's worm space. Oryx is not 2,000 miles long.
Right, because that was my... Yeah. Because Oryx is big, but he's not that big.
He's not that big. He's not even bigger than his throne world.
No, because that would be inconvenient.
That would be very inconvenient.
This is my really dope house. I can't fit in it. It's very pretty, but very small.
It seems to be gesturing
Infinite
at my dollhouse.
cosmic power.
Itty living space. But okay. So it's metaphorical. It's more like the worms. They exist as ghosts do, where they have their little pocket dimension, and when the hive dies, the worm can pop out.
Okay.
Alternatively, we could say that the worm can live in the ascendant plane of the hive, and... So here's the question. If we kill the hive in their ascendant plane, but the worm is still alive, well, the worm's not going to resurrect them because that's sword logic, baby.
Yeah, and I also literally think they don't have the power.
But what happens to the worm?
It's a great question. That's a phenomenal question.
Because the answer to that question is how we treat worms, the stat blocks for them and everything.
Yeah.
In the hive encounters.
Yeah.
Because especially if we want to do the thing where you kill the knight. Huzzah, we killed the knight. And then the worm pops out and now you get to kill the worm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I'm not sure I have a direct answer to that. Because my original idea was just like, can we just make creatures that are like small souls that do kind of...
that's what I was thinking too, and I was thinking it'd be a really fun way to deploy them would be, you kill the major or ultra and then the worm pops out. And then it's like the Sekiro, the centipedes in Sekiro. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes, yes,
love
yes.
watching people's first time reaction to fighting those monkeys and having to fight the centipede afterwards. Oh, it's
Yeah.
fun. It's so fun.
Okay. Okay. So I think that unlike ghosts in our settings, because in our settings, ghost and guardians are like pair bonded for life, right? Like that's it. Like a ghost can't go and, oh, my guardian died and RTL'd. I'm just gonna go res a new guardian, right? It's the guardian or the ghost has their one person, resurrects them. That's it, and that's that guardian's ghost, and that's that ghost's guardian. I think that in such a loveless system as the Hive sword logic, that worms can exist and do exist apart from hosts. And they have a mutually parasitic relationship. And I think that's consistent with the lore that we've seen. So even if that isn't quite exactly accurate, that I don't think is too divergent from lore. In that fanon kind of graph, right? Or like visual display. I think this is close enough that it could be considered. Like it's keeping the accuracy of the source material in mind, right? Like it could be accurate to source material. It's not explicit in the source material, but it could be accurate in the source material. That
Okay.
worms don't care about their hosts. There's nothing special about that union. Other than the fact that like, because I think part of it too is we can even see that with Savathun's worm, right? Where like, Savathun kicks her worm out, breaks
Tells it
the
to get a
sword
real
logic,
job.
tells it to get a real job, and that worm is trying to make deals with other people, including
Including
Marasov.
us. Yeah.
Us, Marasov, it wants proximity to power because it's a parasite, right? So it just needs a host. But it's also the only thing that makes it very much like Savathun's worm is it's also trying to trick and deceive you, and it's clearly trying to trick and deceive you in a bid for power, both practical and very likely paracausally, right? So it might be one of those things that like worms can take on the behaviors of their hosts, as they kind of feed off of their essence and vice versa. Because I mean, clearly, when the krill consume the worms, they become like worm and hive. They become the hive, right? Their physiology changes. And so I could see that going both ways, especially considering it's a relationship of mutual parasitism, right? They get to the krill, when they become hive, get powers related to the deep and the sword logic and all of this. And then the worms get hosts and feed on the death of their hosts. But I don't think that they are so mutualistic that they are inseparable, right? This isn't, this is one of those. It's not like the bacteria on our stomachs, right? Where like if we die, the bacteria in our stomach dies, and hypothetically vice versa. Not quite that drastically, but you get what I'm meaning. Gut health is important.
Gut health is very important. Eat some yogurt today.
Eat some yogurt. Point being though, in all seriousness, I think talking this through, that a worm could exist when its host dies, but maybe not for long. Might need another host.
Okay,
yeah.
So if we want to go with they're truly parasitic, we would say that they're incapable of getting their nourishment on their own, which in their case is death. Which kind of means they don't have stat blocks and they don't do damage.
But we also know that this is the case because this is almost why I'm thinking it's more of a mutualistic relationship. It's like mutualistic parasitism, where each creature is independent, capable of doing its own thing. Otherwise, neither one of them would have anything to bring to the table, right? Like, it's almost like the birds that sit on the back of hippo and rhinos. And it's like, so like that bird is capable of going and hunting on its own. They frequently do, but an easy meal is to sit on the back of a rhino and pick at the bugs that bother it, and then
Okay.
The rhino gets something to clean it up, right? That's almost where my brain's at. So I think it can exist on its own, clearly. Especially when we see when worms get big, right? Like when worms get big, they're really clearly capable of doing.
I mean, yeah, look at Zol.
Look at Zol, right?
And that's the baby of the worm gods.
That's the baby of the worm gods. So it makes sense that if there's like an almost like adolescent stage worm god, quote unquote, so to speak, right? That like it'd be capable of
baron, a worm.
Worm demigod.
Worm
I guess.
demigod, yeah.
Yeah, if there's another synonym for demigod, that might be better. But
okay.
Point being, that like they'd be capable of doing some stuff.
I'm gonna
do some
so
stuff
worm progeny. Is this a major or an ultra?
This should be a major. It should be a major. I don't think it should be an ultra. Because I think if it's an ultra, it'll be hard to differentiate from other.
Yeah.
If we do drop hive gods or
I almost
want
to even make it an elite, especially if we're gonna have it up here.
Drop out of ultras.
I almost want to make it an elite, just a really high level elite.
I'm okay with this.
And then this worm progeny
is a major.
What CR bracket? Either the 5 to 10 bracket or maybe like a 17 plus bracket even.
I actually kind of like 17 plus. Yeah.
Okay. Then let's.
And it should definitely be Hellmouth only.
Okay. Yeah, we do need a lot of Hellmouth only monsters.
Yeah. So we gotta make this thing
17 to 20. Hellmouth only. And then for its main action, I was thinking of just giving it a laser beam. I was gonna give it a burrow speed.
Yes.
A thing where it can whack you with its tail and a laser beam. And then since this is a major, no final stand, no breakthrough, we could give it a charge up action.
Yeah.
Possibly.
What is? Hang on. What does Zol do in his fight?
Laser beams. That's kind of it. Laser beams. That's why I was gonna give it a laser beam, because that's kind of a
What if we gave it? Maybe no. I'm gonna tuck that away for if we do for our other ultra, our 11 to 16 ultra that we're gonna do.
Okay.
I like the idea of a charge of action, summoning, having an actual, not actual, because our charge of actions have mechanics to them, but a more robust mechanic of, it summons ritual circles, and starts performing a very potent ritual, and if you don't do the right thing to dispel the ritual, very bad things happen.
Okay. It starts, okay, in my head, cinematically speaking, I'm imagining the worm has maybe has crystallized itself or puts itself into a cocoon, and
stasis or something, basically.
Yeah.
Well, not darkness stasis, but literally like a stasis field,
Yeah, like cryostasis.
Yeah. Fuck, suspend is a strand keyword. God damn it.
I know. Cryostasis. Wait, oh crap, that is
Fuck, shit.
We just said cold.
God damn it.
Anyways, okay. Anyways, it chrysalis, right? It puts itself into a chrysalis.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Wait, that's a brood weaver. Anyways, no.
Nice.
It cocoons itself and it starts casting...
Song of Flame. Fuck.
Oh god. And it starts casting spells, and you have to run around and dispel all the spells to break it out of its break it out and maybe even stun it until its next turn. When you do that,
could do that.
Because we could have if it's going to be a really strong effect for completing the charge up action, it should be a really strong effect for interrupting it.
Agreed. This is also part of the reason why, I don't think that I actually want that to go in the worm progeny. That's what I was saying. I'd like that to be our other ultra, our 11 to 16 ultra.
Okay.
does this, because again, this is a major. I don't want the major to have mechanics like that, and we
Okay,
definitively
I'm gonna get the
want
charge up
Progeny to
action
be a
out of
major.
here, and I will
Yeah.
give it a burrow speed, and it'll probably get some legend. I might. What do you want to give it? Spellcasting? Do you want the worm to be able to cast spells?
I think that's great. Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it.
What kind of spells do we want it? I'm gonna check
That's a great
spellcasting.
question. Let me go look at some
Casting
spells.
stat. We'll deal with that later. What's the list of spells we want to give it? So in here, we should be able to just look at the basic 5e spells.
Yeah.
Because I've got all the books in this.
Cool. Could you give it Bane?
We could give it Bane.
Mm-hmm.
We could do Absorb Elements. We could do basic stuff like Acid Splash.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a
Give it Hellish Rebuke.
Hellish Rebuke. Ooh, that's a fun one. I like Hellish Rebuke.
Me too.
I'm gonna go ahead and Hellish... just the ones that we're thinking of. I'm gonna drag them onto the character sheet just so they're all there. We can always delete it later if we decide nah. Spells. Chromatic Orb.
Rebuke.
Chain Lightning. Cause Fear. I
was kind of having the idea of like curses, so like curse and devilish kind of stuff. So that's why Hellish Rebuke jumped out to me. That's why I liked Bane. Things that are debilitating and cruel.
Dissonant Whispers.
Yeah.
Eats up your... Oh, Eye Bite.
Huh. But he doesn't have eyes.
It does. It's in the inside of the mouth.
Just the wrong place for those.
Okay. Oh, Eye Bite might actually...
Destructive Wave.
And then there's going to be people who are listening to this who are like, riveting, you're just reading spells.
You're the one who clicked on the video.
No, that or they have ideas for spells to give it that we're just not going to see.
Sickening Radiance. That's not... Are we okay to use non-PHB spells?
We can. We just can't publish the spells.
Right.
So I prefer to use PHB, or I prefer to use, whatchamacallit, SRD spells whenever I can, because then we can just publish the spells with the monster, and that's no big deal. But if we can, we just put the spell in there, and then we hope the players...
On the list, but... Then,
yeah.
Okay. Sickening Radiance.
Okay.
We reflavor the radiant damage to be, like, necrotic. We could even make it darkness.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Damage.
But dim greenish light spreads within a 30-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose within range. Light spreads around corners, and it lasts until the spell ends. When a creature moves into the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, they succeed on a con save or take 4d10, in this case darkness damage, and it suffers 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay.
The creature also emits a dim greenish light in a 5-foot radius if they fail the con save. This light makes it impossible for the creature to benefit from being invisible. The light and any levels of exhaustion caused by this spell go away when the spell ends, and it is a concentration spell up to 10 minutes.
You know what else I'm going to give the worm?
What's that?
Pass Without Trace.
Ha! I love that, actually.
Yep.
That's dope. Yep, so when it burrows, too, it leaves no tracks, no trail. Yeah,
baby.
Yeah. I love it. Love it.
Right. I don't know if we need to give it too many spells, to be honest.
I don't think we need to give it too many spells either.
I think, like, Hellish Rebuke, Sickening Radiance, Pass Without Trace, and then, I don't know, something like either Dissonant Whispers or Crown of Madness.
Are either of those not concentration?
Oh, Crown of Madness is charming a creature. It is concentration. Dissonant Whispers is not concentration.
Let me look at Dissonant Whispers.
That's the one that they take the psychic damage and they have to use the reaction to run away from you.
Oh, yeah, dope. That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Now, if we wanted to give it a 9th level spell, we could do Psychic Scream.
Oh, yeah! It is. Wait, Kitty, this is a major. This is a major.
This
oh,
is
but
a
it's
major.
a 17th plus major.
It is a 17 plus major. It could have 1 9th level spell slot.
Could have 1 9th. It could hit him with the Psychic Scream. I like Psychic Scream.
Unaffected,
Only problem is that
and it's
could
an
be...
int save.
It is an int save. We've got a lot of W's here, but it does have one. Russ is going to be listening to this video vibrating in rage because I'm pretty sure Psychic Scream, it stuns.
It does stun.
Also, if the target is killed by magic, its head explodes. That's not as important for a Guardian, but it is important.
It really
to
is
note.
not. Yeah, that's nothing. You can fix that with a quick res.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, I think we're good here.
Okay.
Maybe
where?
also,
oh, there it is.
that's a cantrip. I don't want to do that. I don't want you. Your cantrip is the laser beam that comes out of your mouth.
That's right. That's right.
That's
yes.
your cantrip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sweeping line too. Yes, very cool. Very.
So
cool.
yeah, we have the laser beam. We have the tail slam. It is a major. It is gonna burrow. I don't know. Do we want it to do any Do we want it to do anything super special? For a first worm?
No.
Yeah,
no,
I'm thinking for a first worm, it's fine if this is super basic. And I'm also
gonna have
fine.
some spells
It'll
the
have
party
a couple
hasn't
spells.
seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. It doesn't need to be more complicated than this. We can make future worms more complicated.
Yes, and we should.
We should.
Yep.
Aww.
Yeah, God, that Psychic Scream, holy shit. 14d6 psychic damage is a hell of a thing.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I want it so bad.
14d6, and if they fail, they're stunned. It's like TPK inducing. But it's 17th level or higher. This is a master tier enemy.
All right.
A master tier major.
Master tier, yep, and that's Worm Progeny. That's on our list. The Chosen Knight will buff. That'll go up there. And then what's a buffed up gargoyle look like? Because we were talking about that. Either a major or maybe like an 11 to 16 elite. So we had more elites in the higher tiers.
Here's the thing. Here's my honest feedback and thought here.
Okay.
I think with our existing elites and the fact that the wizard as an elite kind of punches up with its DPR, I don't know if the Hive need more elites.
This is true.
Unless
we have
if we're good, yeah. We have a variety, right? Adherents, Knights, Onslaught Shriekers, Silencers, regular Shriekers. We've got all of the spawn clutches, which are I think they're very unique. The fact that they're considered elites, I think is kind of fun because it lets you make some very. I mean, don't get me wrong, you could do some very silly fights. Like that one fight I threw against Juniper and Knot and
where they kept popping the clutches instead of just defeating them one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Or just not shooting them at all.
Yeah. Just not shooting them at all.
I'll be at least, and obviously this is GM purview. If your idea of winning the encounter is you have to clear all the hit bars on the field, that's totally fine. For me, my spawn clutches are always the way I use them tends to be as terrain that I get to drop down onto the battlefield because they have auras. Right? They have their little stinky clouds. And for me, if my players don't pop them, you could just avoid them. They don't do when their turn in the initiative order comes. They don't do anything. They just sit.
No actions. Yeah.
It's just sitting there menacingly. But for me, it's what I'll do is I like having that be like a second phase to a fight. I'm kind of giving away some secret sauce here, but that's okay. I think it's fun. I love having my wizards bolt barrage spawn clutches.
Yeah.
If the
the Knights boomer cannon them, yeah.
The Knights boomer cannon them, yeah. So like if the party isn't hitting them and the wizard feels like they need reinforcements, they don't do it early because the whole point is that those are going to grow into fully fledged ogres or fully fledged swarms of thrall. But if I need reinforcements now, sure, I'll bolt barrage a spawn clutch, summon an entire wave of thralls that immediately takes their turn instantly. They go rush into a poisonous smoke and just rip some people alive, right? It can make for some very dynamic initiative order stuff. So I like using them for that. But if the fire team doesn't shoot them, if the check's clear, just
If the check's clear, just let them go.
Just let them go.
Okay. I kind of want to also take Banshee and Execution. Well, Executioner, I think I want to do requires session plan for outside the Hellmouth, but in the Hellmouth you can use these.
That makes sense. They're in the Hellmouth. Where else are the Ascendant Hives supposed to be? Huzzah. Fantastic. Great. More people should get to play with those, genuinely, because they're really fun. And they're really scary.
They're some of my favorite monsters that I've made.
Yeah.
The Executioner,
the Banshee, especially with the updated spell list, love. And the Executioner creates for such tense moments on the field. All
right.
And trying to break that chain component is so cool, so fun. It's tense.
It's a do or die moment for you and your fire team.
Yep, because otherwise the Executioner is doing what it says on the tin, and is just one at a time killing people on the battlefield. And it's great. It's very cool.
We could look into Darkblade and possibly allowing the Hated in the Hellmouth. We could make a version of Fogoth that's just a basic, unnamed type of ogre.
I do just love the visual image, though, of like an upscaled gargoyle that it's big, right?
It's a big boy.
Big boy. Got big wings. It's got this big, gnarly pole arm, it's got, it's throwing out spells, it's fucking swinging this pole arm around, and then it's maybe got this charge up action that it can do, like the big ritual thing. I think that's really cool. The idea that it's almost like a trifecta of the three divergent morphs to a certain degree. Like, it's got a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of spell casting, like a wizard. It's got a little bit of the soldiering and the grenadier kind of stuff, like a gargoyle or an acolyte. And then it's got a little bit of that melee brutishness from a knight. And it's starting to master Hive ritual magic. I think for a CR 17 to 20 Hive Ultra, the idea that it's just kind of uncorking everything that the deep has to offer for the Hive is kind of cool.
I also like the idea of the ritual, where it has its pole arm, right? It takes the pole arm, slams it into the ground, and starts producing the ritual sites all around it. Mm-hmm. And each ritual site just requires one guardian to go there and perform an action to stop the ritual. And it's like on initiative count 20, it does one site. On initiative count 15, it does another site. And at the end of the charge up action, however many ritual sites are still remaining determines the effect of the charge up action.
I actually really like that. I think that's dope.
Yeah, and it gets players to move around the map. And it needs to be an action on the ritual that you're basically just guaranteed to be able to solve it by yourself. You don't need a second person. Because we want 4.
Yeah, and what we could do is we could give a way for them to, because I like the idea that they just have to run up and spend an action. I think what we could do is they can run up and spend an action, and I like there being a guaranteed way to do it, where there's just no nonsense, no fuss, but it costs something. Or they can attempt to contest it in some way. So there's a bit of risk reward, right? I kind of like this idea. So the idea that they have to run into the ritual circle, the idea is that they have to dispel it with light. So they have to give up a power charge, right? So they run up, and one of their charge, it doesn't have to be crazy, right? Support, melee, or grenade. They just say, I'm spending this charge, and if it takes an action, they spend the charge, it's gone. Very cool.
Okay.
Or they could run up and do like a or maybe if they do it that way, it's a bonus action. So they can they run up and as a bonus action expend one of their ability charges, dispel the circle, and it's guaranteed, right? Like you were saying, like the ability for them to just run up, all they got to do, there is a simple way to do it, or to kind of give a little bit of risk reward for some of our more academic characters, the ability for them to run up and try to contest the magic itself, and they can make like an Arcana or a Religion check against probably pretty high DC, but
making an ability check is an action.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But it gives them something to do.
It means they don't have to spend. Oh wait. Oh, Drac. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine this. You can either go up to it and you can spend an action to dump one of the charge of lights into it, and that'll interrupt it. Alternatively, you can go up to it and you just stand in it and you stay in there, and when the action completes, you make your light ability saving throw, or your power ability saving throw. And if you succeed, you break the ritual at that time, but if you fail, you can take a bit of damage, then of course you failed to interrupt it. It's the end of the action, so now the gargoyle gets his thing off. So you can keep your charge if you just think that your light's strong enough or you're high enough level enough to realistically succeed on the saving throw.
Yeah, I like it. I like that a lot, actually. I like that a lot. And it's a bit of a gamble, right? Because you're just you standing there isn't enough, but it might be enough. But if it's not, the ritual still goes off. You'll take some damage from that, and then on top of that, that's one successful ritual still for the charge of action. Yep. Only thing that we would want to keep in mind, because initiative orders are funny, is with the whole initiative count 20, 15, 10, 5 thing, what happens if all of our guardians have rolled above 5 initiative? And then a portal appears on initiative count 5, and now nobody can do anything.
You have to just deal with the fact that there's one there, and next time you know to hold your turn. Well, you can't, because you can't hold your turn. That's Pathfinder.
Yep. Yep. The best you could do at that point is hold your action to dash to hopefully get within range of the portal. But then because you're doing that as a reaction and all you're doing is dashing, you can't even have the choice to expend your charge. Because you can only do that as a bonus action.
Okay, so I like this. This is what I want to do then. When it uses the charge up action, it makes 1d4 plus 1 ritual sites with an X feat, which means theoretically you could have one person run up to a ritual site, do their action to dump the charge into it, and then spend the rest of their movement to end their turn in another site.
Okay.
You have one person that can handle up to 2 sites.
Yeah.
If you have enough movement and enough charges, and you are also overcharged, you could, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. No, I like that.
Okay.
I think that works.
But
there is the risk that they do that and there's only 2, but I think that's fine.
What happens when the charge up action completes, though?
Oh, kitty. What we could do is originating from each of... So first of all, we could have it so that way the Nephilim heals for each ritual that goes off. So it'll oh, kitty, what if it worked the opposite of Well of Radiance?
Oh, yeah?
What if it worked the opposite of Well of Radiance? So it's like a one-time burst. So this is what I'm thinking. And this is part of the risk of running up and trying to challenge the rituals. From each ritual, the damage scales based on how many successful rituals goes off. Just to throw numbers out there, it's almost certainly going to be higher because it's CR 17 minimum. But it's like 4d6 per ritual that goes off, right? And let's say it does all 5. Part of the risk of running up and not dispelling, not using your charge to dispel the ritual so you can get away, is in a radius around each ritual, they explode in like caustic soul fire. and it charges up based on how many other rituals are.
Yeah. So each ritual
that-
site explodes and does damage based on the total number of rituals that explode. So, like, we could say something like, if it's 1d4 plus 1, 4d6 per site.
Mhm.
So if you have 4 sites, that becomes 16d6. And that is in the AoE around each site. It's not split up, it's, it's the total. You know how we work. We'll get the wording down later.
Yeah.
We just need to get the idea down.
We're getting the base ideas down today. Yeah. Absolutely.
And if this is an ultra, what's its breakthrough action?
We could just give it another powerful ability for it to use that just recharges on its breakthrough.
We could, yeah. That's a pretty standard one to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think this needs a final stand, because unless this is going to be the end boss of a fight or a strike or something like that, final stand is, I like to keep that pretty rare. And then being a buffed up gargoyle, it's going to have the grenades, it's going to have the pole arm, it's going to have the flyby feature. It'll import all of that from basic gargoyle kit. I will also want to give it... I think I want to give it, it can make opportunity attacks when you move within its reach instead of just exiting its reach.
Yep, it's got Polearm Master.
Yeah, it's got Polearm Master, and I might want to give it some legendary actions, and if I'm going to give it a unique legendary action, it might be to command other creatures to do things, similar to kind of how the Archon plays.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So we got the big thing on this one, though, is going to be figuring out that charge up action and getting that to work. Well, considering that it heals when it does this, I almost want to make it a breakthrough action, where it happens on the breakthrough.
Oh,
and it's just one round later. Yeah. Instead of a charge up, I kind of want to make that the breakthrough.
Because then it can still do stuff elsewise, right? It's not having to choose between does it do its cool charge up action or it just happens on the breakthrough. Yeah. I like that.
I might give it a regional effect because it is so high CR and it's supposed to be an ultra.
Yeah.
I think regional effect, genuinely, this could be really fun, especially if we mix this in with how overworlds work and stuff like that. Because the regional effect could just be within 5 cards or whatever. It buffs the stats of gargoyles in its region, or gargoyles are more likely to spawn or get added to encounters.
I like that.
More gargoyles, or they have more grenades. Your gargoyles have more grenades.
Oh yeah. I like that. I like the gargoyles getting the grenade, because the grenade is definitely one of the scarier things that the gargoyle has.
Yeah, and getting extras of those. So, because I think they normally only have 1, so if they get 3 now. Okay. If we had, our overworld map, which no one listening to this knows what we're talking about, but we have our overworld map, and you have the gargoyle that is a creature on the map, and you as the GM can see where it is, and you can see the AoE of its regional effect, and players figuring out that, hey, when we go into this area, there's more gargoyles and there's more, and they just naturally decide to explore the area, and then they end up finding this gargoyle, the Nephilim. I like that stuff. I like that stuff where the players are put in a position where they're given the ability to figure something out on their own, and they're able to be like, hey, this is weird. Whenever we go to these cards in this area of the overworld, this sort of thing happens. Let's explore this area specifically. Okay, but...
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think that covers what we had to do for today, and we've been at this for like 2 hours now. I definitely feel like my brain is fried. There's quite...
Likewise.
I don't think the final recording is going to be quite 2 hours. I think Slothman will be able to cut out a whole hour. God bless his
Which
soul.
is unfortunately a lot of work for him to do. But
it is a lot of work.
We appreciate you, Sloth.
And we really do appreciate you. And we really do appreciate our patrons and our supporters who allow us to sit up here and bounce around about monster ideas. We're gonna have to do this again because we have a couple more areas to fill in, particularly on that walker. I want to do a souped up walker.
Yes.
But for now, I think we're good. We'll just plink away at finishing the wording on all of this, and I don't think the monsters will be ready until January, because we're almost at the end of November here, and then we always take December off, so don't expect to see this anytime soon, players, but that's great, because you'll listen to this before then, and then you'll forget that it happened, and you'll forget.
You'll forget.
Yeah, you'll forget, and then you won't know what happened, and that's the plan, Stans. All right. We're gonna sign off here. Toodaloo.